Hello. Welcome in, gamers. It's that time of the week again, which means I'm gonna prattle on about nonsense for 2 hours, and that's kind of it. Also, the Stream Beats playlist is broken again. Hang on. Had to go and find it. But it's working now. I'm gonna turn this down so I don't look like I don't know, like I've been rolled through white paint. Couldn't think of anything funny to say, so instead, I said something that wasn't funny instead. It's the real strategy there. Okay, right. The plan for today is to go out and to make more mystic shit, basically. Let's tilt this down just a little bit. Come on. There we go. Oh, there's only one little thing in the jar now. There's just one little pulsating something. I don't think that it should just be that. I think there should be more shit in there, but whatever. Maybe it all bounced out and I didn't notice. The whole thing just like fell into oblivion. It's entirely possible and honestly quite likely. But either way, last week we didn't get a huge amount done. So I think we were mostly just chat and design stuff for an extended period of time, which is fine. But I am this fucking close to finishing. Because what we have left to do is 1, 2, 3 powers and this 18th level feature, and that is it. Obviously, I'm like, there are things I want to do with the class. Like, I want to rename PowerPoints because they're a stupid fucking name. But I don't want to just call them psi points because then that implies that they are a fuel or a resource, like sorcery points, and they aren't. So, yeah, I don't really know what to call them. But either way, basically the plan is to just make powers today, and if I come up with that 18th level feature, to make that too. That is the plan. And then I think probably the last thing I'm going to do with the class, assuming that I finish today, which I won't, I'm not gonna, that. I'll probably make 2 powers today and maybe come up with that 18th level feature, but it's highly unlikely I'll be finishing today. But basically, once I'm done, I want to go through and make a 1st level mystic character, a 5th level mystic character, a 10th level mystic character, and a 20th level mystic character. I don't have that many things. But yeah, we're going to use the same basis. Probably going to take the same character to 20th level. That makes the most sense. Mostly because we've come all this way. We've got this crazy elaborate design, and I don't want to be in a position where it ends up being a class where you have 7,000 fucking words on your character sheet. You have a short essay, which I think is probably going to be a problem. I think it's going to be a problem early on, but later on when you graduate from just getting new powers a lot to upgrading all your other ones, I think it'll be less of a problem. And I think it'll be a big problem for players who want to spread out and learn almost all the powers, just almost every single one of them, which is theoretically, you can't learn all of them, but you can learn 4/5 of them if you really want to. It's sort of the same thing as making a 13th level character that has 1 level in every class. So bad. It's going to be like that. The sort of the optimal, I think, at least. I'm sure testing and design will prove that there is an optimal way to build a mystic, and I imagine it's probably either Blaster Mystic or weapon, or like martial mystic, and either one of them is just kind of objectively the best way to build it, which is, it's not ostensibly a problem, because every single class in the game has the, objectively the best way to build the class. Like, if you're a rogue, you pick, like, Phantom or something, because it's the best one. Or if you're a sorcerer, you pick, like, Aberrant Mind or Clockwork Soul, because again, they're the best ones. If you're a ranger, you'd be like Horizon Walker and Haste Yourself or whatever. If you're, if you're like a martial character, if you're a warlock, you play, you play ranged hexblade, like you play a ranged hexblade nuker or something, because that's just kind of the best way to play it. And if that ends up showing its head, like rearing its head, then that's fine. Like, the game is always going to have stuff like that. It is unavoidable. Without making a system that's like 4th edition, where like you basically only ever have 2 options on building a character and all of them feel the same. That's you either have a game like 4th edition where everything's really balanced but nothing's really all that interesting, or you have 5th edition where there's a lot of interesting shit, but there's also a lot of broken shit as well. It's really a matter of preference, which one prefers. I personally much prefer 5th edition, as I'm sure my language betrays. I've played 4E. I played 4E. It was actually the first game I ever played. First RPG I ever played, anyway. It's good. It's not for me, but it's good. I still feel very, very firmly like I'm glad 4E exists, and I'm glad 4E was largely deemed as a failure by WotC by kind of killing off a lot of their long-term fan base, and making them switch over to Pathfinder, because that meant they went and designed 5th edition, which is pretty objectively the best edition of the game. There's some weirdness with 5E, but there's weirdness with every edition of the game. People like to look at the new thing and go, oh, it's bad because it's new, or it's bad because this old edition did this better. And it's like, yeah, but what does 5e do that edition doesn't? It's a lot, is the answer. But yeah, I think I think if people want to live in a world where 4e is really popular and really successful, 4e would not be 4e, it would be called D&D Tactics or something like that, and it would have been crazy popular. Because if they hadn't have marketed it as, this is what D&D is now, i.e. completely different to what D&D is, obviously they had like all the staples and shit, but ostensibly the way 4e functions is like leagues apart from 3.5. 3.5 feels like an evolution of 2nd edition. It feels like the logical next step with some extra bold choices sort of made, generally for the better, I would argue. Whereas 4e is like, okay, right, we're going to scrap literally everything and start again. Or we're going to scrap everything except like the names of the classes and the races and start again. And if they had done that and called it D&D Tactics and still kept supporting 3.5 and released D&D Tactics as a side product, it would have been super popular. Or alternatively, it wouldn't have been not all that popular, but would have had a really dedicated cult following of people like now, where people are going back and going, oh, I love 4th edition. I love 4th edition, it's my favorite edition. Those people would have been the majority. The people talking about 4th edition would have been people saying, oh, you need to try D&D Tactics, it's so good. Like proper cult followings. Like that one guy who's constantly like, telling you to go watch this one obscure show that they're clearly really passionate about. That is what 4e would be if it was called D&D Tactics, or was marketed as something other than 4th edition. Is my belief, anyway. I firmly believe that would be true if they had done something like that. Because 4e is very clearly and obviously designed to capitalize on the MMO train, and there's nothing wrong with that, mind you. Like there is literally nothing wrong with that, because funnily enough, games like WoW were successful because they are good. Like WoW is a good game. I don't like MMOs. I don't like WoW, but I'm not going to come out and tell you that it's bad, because it obviously isn't. There are plenty of games I absolutely despise, and I couldn't tell you were bad, because they aren't. Like, if I don't want to hear the word Fortnite said. I don't want to hear it. It's a word that causes me personal discomfort, but I can't tell you it's bad, because it isn't. It's clearly very well made. It's made by Epic. They're generally very good at making video games, even if I don't like them, But pointless ramblings about 4th edition aside, I'm actually going to do some fucking work, believe it or not. And I think we're going to start with mental projection, because I have absolutely no idea what this is yet. Outside of, like, I know what mental projection literally is as a concept. It's, like the astral projection. I'm gonna Doctor Strange does his thing and he, like, astral projects himself. Like, cool. Yeah, that's interesting. But what does that mean on a mechanical basis, outside of being able to cast clairvoyance and scrying? Like, what actually does that do? Speaking of, you don't get... Hang on. Nope, okay, right, we're safe. Nope. Mental projection. Clairsentience power. Now, when I'm actually, like, formatting this, I'm not sure, because all of these disciplines, all of the different disciplines, they were initially going to have a mechanical basis, and now they just don't, like, at all. Like, they don't have any basis in the mechanics of the game, or the mechanics of the class. They just kind of are, and they're just, like, even like the schools of magic have a mechanical implication in, what type of wizard you are. Otherwise, it kind of just for flavor. But they at least have one instance where they matter, right? Whereas all the disciplines, they were initially going to, but they just don't. I say, welcome in, show, welcome in. I just started work after rambling for like 10 minutes about 4th edition. And my personal headcanon that if 4th edition was marketed as D&D Tactics, it would be a like an indie, or not an indie, like a cult success, like a cult classic success. Wouldn't have sold amazingly. Probably would have sold worse than 4th edition did. But it would be a cult, like it would have a cult following of people who are like, fuck all the main editions of the game. D&D Tactics is where it's at, which is what people are kind of like now with 4e, sort of. But even then, it's still like you have to convince people the 4th edition is good because of the preconceived notion that it's shit. And it's like, is it shit? Not really. Is it D&D? Also not really. It's a very different game with a D&D coat of paint. But it is cool. It's not for me, but it's cool. Oh, interesting. Mara teaser. Is this is, I assume this is for Midnight Hunt, right? I mean, obviously it is, but I will post any exciting ones in here, and I will read through the other ones. And also, has he just written Werewolf Commander in all caps? Because he better have done, because that's just funny. I reckon Arlen is probably going to be a Werewolf Commander. She'll oh no, she's a Planeswalker. So and they would never print a card with this card can be your commander in a standard legal set. Or whatever. I don't know. The power to transmit one's conscious mind to other location. Conscious mind. Presumably madness and delirium, I guess? Or, like, it's either one of them, right? It's gotta be. Like madness has a much better design space than delirium by, being a casting cost kind of situation. A popular Innistrad, I mean, what's the most popular Innistrad card, right? I guess it's not the most popular. It's probably Ghost Quarter, because Ghost Ghost Quarter needs to be in standard, given the fact that the Book of Exalted Deeds exists. They can't. There's no way they made the book knowing that Faceless Haven exists and all those manlands, and then not reprint Ghost Quarter. Right? Am I stupid? Like, they have to reprint Ghost Quarter. They can't not. Given the standard environment and having to, like, insta-ban the Book of Exalted Deeds because of Faceless Haven. There's no fucking way, right? I don't know. Just turn your fucking land into a platinum angel. Oh, it's Snapcaster Mage. Yeah, first one is Snapcaster Mage, which is scary thinking about Snapcaster Mages. Oh, Flashback and Madness. Those are the mechanics. Flashback. I forgot Flashback was from Innistrad, but yeah, it's gonna be Flashback, and because popular tournament card, there's no fucking way that's not Snap. Like, Snap does have 3 pieces of art as well. Hang on. Snapcast. I'm very scared about Snapcaster Mage being in standard though. That's. Yep, there's the original Snapcaster Mage with Volkenbarger. There is the promo Snapcaster Mage, which I'm not sure who the artist is for that, I can't tell. And then there's Modern Master Snapcaster Mage. Joseph Meehan and Ryan Alexander Lee. So yeah, it's Snapcaster Mage. Oh, 5th art? Well, never mind, it's not fucking Snapcaster Mage then. Honestly, I'd be happy to see Meld. Meld's cool. I like Meld. Mental projections is the power to transmit one's conscious mind to another location. But yeah, so I guess it's not Snapcaster Mage, huh? Let me just check something real fast. Oh, block, soy. We're reduced to 0 or less, but that means. Ooh, the zombies one. That feels like Gissa. Yes, any number of the copies without paying their mana cost. That's cool. That's cool. Now, where is... because I have an idea of something I can do. Lesser projection. Now, I'm not giving them a 3rd level spell for free at 1st level. That's not what I'm doing. Bear with me. Its casting time is 1 action and its range is 60 feet. Wait, did I just see dinosaur? Okay, no, it's a dragon. Hippogriff spirit, okay. Dragon egg, legendary creature ooze, and legendary vampire noble are creature types alongside a variety of horrors. It's cool. Did horrors have precedent on Innistrad before? Like, it seems sensible that they would have done, but let me scryfall this real fast. Scryfall. Because I'm going to watch this live on Thursday. I'm going to watch the announcement thing, which could be cool. I always enjoy watching those live. I didn't get a chance to watch the 2021 one, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I would have just been watching me just get mad, just progressively angrier. How many horrors are in the 2 Innistrad blocks? Hang on, let me do minus type Eldrazi. Yeah, I guess it's just kind of the leftover weirdness from all the Eldritch Moon stuff. And there's also quite a few in the original Innistrad block as well. There's a good number of them. Yeah. When you cast Clairvoyance in this way, its casting time is 1 action, its range is 60 feet, and any creature that can see the sensor. Demon Dog. Hell yeah. A luminous intangible. Instead of an orb. Not an obber, an orb. Not an orbun, just an orb. Jesus, I can't fucking type. What even is typing? Like, what even is it? That's the real question I got for gamers at home. Right. So lesser projection nets you basically a better version of clairvoyance, it nets you a flexible version of clairvoyance that you can cast once per day. It's not quite as good as clairvoyance. Clairvoyance has a range of 1 mile, but it's an action, has a range of 60 feet. So if there is a door and you want to know what's behind it, you project your mind beyond the door. Or if you want to be able to look in 2 places at once. Let me just... Oh wow, here's a fun fact. Clairvoyance specifically defines in rules text what familiar to you means. It defines it as a place you have visited or seen before, which implies a familiar creature is a creature you have seen or met before. So that's interesting, that familiar specifically means Like, that's always been what I've assumed it to mean, is you're familiar with something if you've seen it or, you know, interacted with it before. You know, you're familiar with a place if you've seen it or you've been there. You're familiar with a person if you've met them or you've seen them before. I suppose that doesn't necessarily, like, a lot of I guess the main thing is, are you familiar with someone if you see a picture of them? If someone describes someone to you, like, again, in that instance, it rules out the I describe someone to you and then you are familiar with them. I can't get all this glare off my fucking headphones. Christ. I take a sip of my tea. I had a lot of fucking tea today. Like, a lot. It's customary for me to stream with tea, so it shall continue. So I guess the main thing is, what the fuck else do you get at novice level as mental projection? Like, you can physically project your mind and your senses to a location. And so I'm not gonna like dwell on it for ages. I'm just gonna put something else needs to be here. It needs to be a combat usable ability that is revolving around you projecting your senses. So adept, you are an adept mental projection. You gain the following benefits. Lesser projection. You may instead use this feature 2 times. Yeah. See, I know what expert level is going to be. It's going to be when you cast clairvoyance in this way, you just cast the spell. Like, you can choose to cast it normally as well. So you can do the projection thing. You can do this one action 60-foot range, or you can cast the spell normally as 10 minutes and 1 mile. And then it'll also give you scrying, like just the spell scrying. And also conveniently gives you a better version of scrying by meaning you don't need components, so you don't need to spend money on it. So it's not, the spell isn't better, but you know, you don't have to go looking for a fucking bowl of a platinum bowl or whatever the fuck like a 1,000 gold crystal orb or whatever, which is like, it's one of those things with like the gold cost spell components where the moment you think about where like this if you're in like an even remotely low magic setting, a lot of those like spell components you would just never be able to find because you'd have to get them custom made, and they would cost like triple the amount that they would normally, so you just never be able to get them. That sucks. I wish I was more stringent with spell components, because I tend not to be, and I really should be. Like, consumed cost I'm good with, but I'm generally really good with, but when people are like, oh, I want to take this spell, it's like, well, it's got to, you know, like, I always forget to look into whether it's got a cost component, but I suppose that's also, you know, on the players taking that spell. They should be taking that into account as well. But, yeah. Right. I always find the biggest risk is when you're playing an adventure like Curse of Strahd or something. Like, where the fuck are you supposed to get the components for scrying in Curse of Strahd? Like, legit. Like, unless you steal them from, like, Madame Ava or something. You know, just, you know, like, doing bad shit. How are you supposed to get them? Because there's no way you can feasibly buy them in Barovia. There's nowhere. Unless your DM is like, yeah, you guys can just skippity hop over to Haslan and like go buy magic components in a completely separate like dread domain, then you're just kind of boned. But either way, This is one of the ones I knew I was going to struggle with. Just coming up with, like, what abilities do they get? And it's like, how do you contextualize projecting your thought, or not even your thoughts, your like mental presence to another location? How do you like how do you how do you contextualize that as like a thing, like a combat thing you would want to do? Like maybe reaction, you know, you're forced to like make a whiz or charisma save, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. I think a lot of the adventures you could feasibly find all of them and just in random loot. But again, you're rolling on random tables at that point. Like, are you actually going to find what you're looking for? Answer is probably not. Oh. Ugh. So I guess if you can project your mind somewhere, then your mind is in a different location, maybe. Let me just check something. Okay, that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Oh. So I am pushing the end step. I'm on like the third from last power, or second from last power. Right, where is... So I have an idea for a power. Or for an ability for novice. Mental separation. I'm gonna use a reaction. To briefly split your mind, your conscious mind, away from your body. If you do, roll a d4. Saving throw, but not before, but not after. That feels fairly minor, but it is repeatable. It is, and whenever you make an int whiz or charisma save, you want to fail it, or you want to succeed it even, because those are the worst saving throws you can make. Because Dex, Con, and Strength saves are against, you know, like, oh, you're restrained, or oh, you're poisoned, or oh, you take a shitload of damage, and like, that's generally not that bad. in most cases, like, con saves can be bad, but generally speaking, you still get your turn, right? But int whiz and charisma saves are against effects that are affecting your character's ability to perceive things, and thereby you're very likely to lose a turn anytime you fail one of those saves, or multiple turns, if your DM hates you and uses mind flayers, or uses more than one mind flayer, more specifically. It also helps that the class itself is proficient in int and wisdom saves as well, so you take your already two pretty good saves and make them even better, so yeah. And if you're a gnome, then damn, guess you're just never ever going to fail an int whiz or charisma save, huh? Just ever. You theoretically can fail a charisma save, but it's probably not happening. I've never heard of Ancient Grudge before. Oh, I see why it's tournament played. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's got 4 pieces of art. One of them is a secret layer drop, which feels like a bit of a cop out, but I think you're probably right. I don't know if it's tournament played, but it looks tournament playable. It's got flashback that's less than its base cost. It's probably really good. Right. That's the best part about this class. There are no subclasses. There aren't any at all. Because that was the big thing I noticed about the UA Mystic, is it has a boatload of subclasses, and none of them do anything. They're all just pointless. Some of them have like cool flavor abilities, and some of them are just super broken. And the broken ones are the ones that actually do something, and you just pick those, because the other ones just don't do anything. So basically, if you've played Skyrim, think of the skill trees in that game, and imagine if they were a straight line with 4 points, and that is what the class is. So you've literally all of these powers, of which there will be 20 of them. I say 4, 8, 12, 16, yeah, 20 of them. It's not 20 yet, but there will be. And you can spec as much as you want into any of them. Well, there is you can't spec all the way into all of them. But that is, and to release on the guild, I should think so at some point. I have several eons worth of like homebrew that can and should go on the guild at some point, but it's just a case of finding time for me and my artist to like release it, especially because like despite it being the most fun stuff to design and to write for the game, no one fucking buys people barely ever buy homebrew races and classes because DMs always just say no to them. Because they unless it's a DM that's like trying to get players to play it, which again players will always just say no. They don't actually. That's a lie. They often will say no. Like realistically at some point I can and probably will release like a Dritz travelogue sized book of all my own stuff, because I think that's probably the best way to do it. I tried to do it once. I released the Hero's Handbook, and it was just an abject failure. Like there was a class and like 7 subclasses in there, and it was just a complete failure. There was just nothing. Like no one bought it, no one cared. And I think probably the best way to do it is to do a huge anthology book. Which I plan on doing at some point, but again, I've got to find time. I've got to find time for. I say I've been there many times. I say I've had 2 products that have broken metal. One of them this year, courtesy of someone else publishing it. I say my luck on the guild is almost exclusively non-existent. Because I work alone, and I work with people who aren't on the guild, generally speaking. Hell, even when I edit for people, it very rarely does well. A card from Innistrad, there's Faithless Looting, Fiery Temper Divination, a couple of tap lands, and Jason Ramblers. Yeah, definitely not Jason Rambler with Seek Notes. I don't think they would put Faithless Looting in Standard. Like, that card is insane. Like, a card that's banned in Modern probably shouldn't be reprinted for Standard. And Fiery Temper and Divination, I'm not familiar. Like, Divination, I assume it is a look at the top X cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom of your library. I don't know what the X is equal to, or what its mana cost is in this instance, but, and Fiery Temper, I assume, is a burn spell, but maybe with Madness. Oh, is it free? Oh, well, it's not Pot of Greed then, it's not free. I was thinking of like a ponder kind of effect, but yeah. What is Fiery Temper? It's probably do work instead of looking at magic cards, but it's a burn spell. Yeah, it's a burn spell with Madness. Look at me go. I would love to see Madness cards in I would love to see Madness in Standard. That sounds awesome. Like, imagine what it would look like on Arena. You get the, like, if they got like mad little cackling when you discard it. When you discard a card with Madness, it just goes or something. I don't know. That sounds really funny. It would also get really annoying really fast, but it would be novel enough. Yeah. Theoretically, yeah. Given the place the Alchemist is in, realistically all it needs is more testing and some more like tweaks. But I think it could be a good fit. I think it could be a good fit. I think it also just like depends on the success of Dritz's, because I think given the team, like there is some like there's people with some good stuff in there. So I think it's wholly possible. Yeah, I would say if we get anywhere near Tasha's Crucible's level of success, then it was a worthwhile endeavor. Probably a lot more than that. I'm not sure what the like Tasha's Crucible is like a massive team, like this team is too big. These people didn't earn enough money kind of big. I would wager, and the team for Dritz's is like less than half the size, I think. Let me go look at like Tasha's Crucible of Everything. So I'm fairly certain they have a team of like 13 fucking people on that book, and it's like, how did any of you make money? I'll say there's I think like I'm sort of fairly disillusioned with like guild success. I think it's mostly just a fucking crapshoot. I do it because I like making stuff, and I don't think making money is something I can feasibly ever do. But I would certainly like to, you know. And I think there's okay, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people on the team for Tasha's Crucible of Everything. I dread to think what those royalty percentages look like. I think it's... I mean, it's... Until you release something, like put it this way. assuming you want to make $10 an hour, you know, like that's what you want, right? Is you want to have felt like that you made a living wage off of the thing that you made. I don't know what the US living wage is. It's probably somewhere between $10 and $15 an hour. I have no idea. The UK living wage, I think, is like £9 or something like that. It's in that general zone. Like, you're above the national poverty line if you make like £9 an hour, I think. Whether you can afford a house with that money is another question altogether, but really waiting for that housing market to crash so I can still not afford a house. And then also lose any job that I have at the time. So I still won't be able to afford a house. Because society is fucked. But, yeah, I say that's like... Christy Bears. See, I keep my expenditure as close to zero as I can. The most I've ever spent on releasing a product was $40 doing a split of art, which in hindsight I should not have 50-50 split that fucking art cost, because I had half the royalties, if less, than the writer. But you know, that was an oversight on both of our parts, I feel. But either way, like, I wasn't scammed. I still made, like, I've worked with that person a lot since. And you know, I still made money off of that project anyway. But yeah, that's the most I've ever spent on a project is $40. The artist I work with is a friend of mine, and she's happy to work for royalties because she's passionate about the projects, which I feel very bad about, because she's never once, I think, made anything close to return investment on the things that I've made, which is terrible. I fucking hate it. But that's the way that it is. I couldn't do anything I did without her. So I can say I found her a good few paid. Well, I say a good few, a handful of like paid gigs, but that still doesn't cut it for me, I don't think. But so she did some offered dresses. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I forgot about that until just now. Did one of mine and something for one of the paladins, I think. I don't remember which one. Oath of Camaraderie or Hospitality or something like that. I don't remember. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember what it was called, but I remember the art. It's like a big orc guy. But yeah, so the like, despite a lot of the Holodanger books not really doing many numbers at all, just because of the way the work is, I almost go even on them, because it's like 4 hours work at a push, and it's like, you know, I'm not making a lot off of them, that's for sure, but it is like 4 hours work spread over like 2 months. So it, you know, if I were to do 4 hours work in a week, I would want 4 hours pay for it. But if I do 4 hours worth of work over 2 months, then yeah, like, you know, at that point it's like whatever, right? You know, I don't get far off the like breaking even on them, which is weird to think about in hindsight. But yeah, I think there's the just the classic of like, yeah, I think the bundle will help like a lot. I think the big like push point is like a Facebook ad or something. I've had some success and some like pissing money down the sink. I'll say I mean, ultimately speaking, there's, you know, there is a sense of, you know, like obviously you're in charge of the team, but it is also on everybody else to try and put in the effort to like see the products be successful as well. Like, that's the reason you do big group projects. is not necessarily because they need a big group of people to make a book. Like, realistically, if we slash the Holodanger team down to like 4 people, or to like 3 writers plus the editor and you project managing, we could still very easily have made all of the books. Like, the April one would have been a fucking squeeze, but we still would have done it, you know. Honestly, the more pressure, the better for most people. Well, I say for most people, for me, because it forces me to go, right, I'm going to sit down and do this now. Whereas, like, the Drit's deadline in like 2 months, I'm like, I'm not even going to think about that until it's like the end of September, like whatever. But yeah, like the main reason you do big stuff is so that you have a big group of people who are potentially more successful than you are to go, hey, look at this thing I contributed to. Look at this thing I did. I did it with these people, go buy it. Because it basically just gives you free advertising. That's like the real reason, I guess. Like, me personally, it's certainly the only reason I would do it, because it'd be like, you know, I could, you know, if I were in charge of like the monster book, for instance, like doing the big monster book, or like doing like Holodanger or something, I would very stubbornly go, no, I'm just gonna do all of it myself, go away, and then it would be a failure because I'd have no one else to help me advertise it, regardless of how good it was, which is why all of my stuff just does terribly, because I work alone. Oh yeah, 100%. Like if you're bringing on people, you bring on people who are good, like 100%. Like if you bring in someone like the Shush project is, it's got like some crazy, you know, when I go on someone's Twitter and I see that Chris Perkins is following them, and I'm like, oh, okay, right, we're in the money then, sweet. You know, I trust that this person is good at their job. That's I say, yeah, I don't know, oh no, I had a crack. There's a big old crack in my mug. It's not going to show up on camera, but I got like a big old crack like here, and I just did like a tiny little tug here, and I had it crack, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, luckily I hold my mug like this, so, you know, I'm resting it down here as opposed to up here, so it's not going to break anytime soon, but when it does, I'm going to be very sad. I've had this mug for years. It's my Critical Role merch is too expensive, so we resort to Redbubble instead mug. Right. Back to doing work, which is probably a good idea given that it's 6 o'clock. Oh, fuck me. Fuck off. There, I killed it. It's dead. I don't know why those things annoy me so much. It's just... Yeah, beat you to it. Oh yeah, they're all the time. Like, I get those a minimum once every 3 weeks. Once I got 3 in a row. Maybe 4 in like in the space of like 5 seconds. I got like a whole bunch of them. They're super annoying. It's like the same message or variants of the same message, and it's just a randomly generated username. Because, fun fact, on Twitch, you don't have to verify your email at all. You just don't. You can do anything. You can follow people. You can go into most chats. You don't need to verify your email, because Twitch is a well-designed website. Okay, right. I'm probably going to put something else in here, so I'm going to like go back to work. Expert, you are an expert. Imagine Twitch. Like you don't even have to say anything else. Just imagine Twitch, and then end of sentence, and you can leave people to think about it themselves. And I'll probably come up with something. And it'll probably be a pretty reasonable reason to think Twitch is terrible, because it kind of is. It's like Twitch is a bad place. You know, Twitch is a bad place. Yet we are here, languishing in its hellish rays or whatever. I don't know. Right, mentals. I had an idea for something I was going to change. Ah, yes. I had an idea for something I was going to do with mental separation. Oh, I remember. I just put words there. Charmed, frightened, incapacitated, stunned conditions. Oh, okay, right. I'm not going to do the charmed. I'm just going to do stunned and incapacitated then. Incapacitated and stunned conditions. Lesser projection. Let me just double check and make sure that clairvoyance is a mile. It is a mile. You may choose to cast a spell with a casting time of 10 minutes and a range of 1 mile. And then I'm going to put... You may additionally... Does this feature 3 times? It shouldn't be 2 times, it should be just twice. For grammatical correctness. Oh shit, greater projection. You can innately cast the scrying spell requiring no components. I think for I was saying before that like I think the only way to really shift like unless you have unless you're like Ross Lacer, for instance, if you're familiar, he was like an early guild adopter who made pretty reasonable bank on selling like pretty well made classes, some really interesting concepts. And like he's like a big like long time designer that I've had a lot of respect for. I think if you can build up that kind of rapport, then you can sell individual classes and people will trust that they're good and buy them. But in my experience, at least, and in my sites, people don't like products like that. Don't get like just like this one class, especially like, oh, here's a subclass, like that's never going to go anywhere on the guild ever. But in like a wider thing, people go, oh, $20 for this thing that looks cool and a bunch of other stuff I might like, that's worth my money. Whereas $5 for something that could be okay is a much bigger gamble. Especially when, you know, if you buy something, you look at it and it's like, oh, this is 100 pages of like stuff and it's $20. That seems like a pretty good deal to me. My only concern with doing a book like that myself is I could never expect AJ to do that much art for me, like at all, and I wouldn't bring on another artist for royalties, and I wouldn't trust it to sell well enough to pay commission either. So it really depends. It's something I'd like to do long term, but it would just be one of those things where I just have like 6 months of releasing nothing, at which point I would lose out on an enormous amount of money whilst I'm waiting for AJ to finish an obscene amount of art in that time. Yeah, it's for me doing it as much as I would like to, I don't think it's feasible. I'd fucking love to do it though, because I got so much shit. Like, I could fill a book the size of Dritz's, if not bigger, with the shit that I've made. There is so much. And that's not even including all of the spells from the archive as well, which is like 320 spells or something. And you know, like, it's but yeah, I don't know. There's the Hero's Handbook, which has a class in it, and it has a bunch of subclasses. I was just talking about just in general, like just on the guild. I would probably never even bother releasing a like a single subclass onto the guild. Like, I just wouldn't, because I know for a fact that it would never make any amount of money, like at all. It just wouldn't. A potentially interesting way to do it would be welcome in, doing a little bit of work, chatting about guild logistics. Yeah, I think the like realistically, you could totally sell a subclass for a completely reasonable price of like $2 or whatever. Like, you could without question do that. But it's just a case of no one will buy it. It because, you know, most subclasses are like very specific in what they are, and someone has to very actively be looking for what you're making. And because the guild's search functions were, I'm pretty sure, engineered by a field mouse, they would never find it. I think it's just like the I think the long and short of it is the guild is a very badly designed website, and it is not conducive to making the kind of content that a lot of people would probably be interested in buying, but the site just doesn't support it. They have moved newest on the guild to the top now though, so that's great. They've finally gone ahead and done that, and I think they've also thrown the guild adept stuff in the garbage where it belongs. Yes, they threw it all the way down the bottom, the fuck out of my way, which is great. Yeah, it's newest, most popular under $5. And then there's just a bunch of crap that no one cares about. And it's like, thank you, Guild, for making any good decision on web design. Thank you. It's, yeah, that's, ran over. I had to double check the viewers because Lysa dropped into my chat the other day, last week for like 15 minutes or so. It was very nice. Yeah, I'd say it's the more I learn about the guild, the more I'm just like, yeah, this site is just horribly designed, and I don't want to be on it anymore. Yeah. Basically, there are two sort of like plateauing points on the guild. Is never getting popular, or getting popular but never getting popular enough to take your work anywhere beyond the guild. There are very, very few, like, guild creators who have in any way gone beyond the guild. The ones that come to mind are Justice Arman, James Introcaso, Benjamin Huffman. Who are the other ones? I'm trying to think. Those are the only ones that even come to mind. Darkshire? I don't think so. And I don't think he's a particularly big name. I think he's just very controversial. He's almost like the, it's like he's released some popular shit, but a lot of his, like, off-guild popularity, I mean, I guess, yeah. And let me take a look. What is the Patronomicon? What's that sitting at right now? Electrum. Hang on. Popularity. Here we go. It's got a couple of adventures, I assume. Copper. Hang on. I might not be. Hang on. I'm probably not doing this right. Yeah. Mithril, that's gold, plat, gold. Oh god, that thing is gold. Yeah, his stuff's a lot more popular than I thought it was. That's interesting. Again, like, Madness and Delirium feel like obvious ones, but I don't know for sure. And, yeah, I think, I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other... I'm not sure if Darkshire has tried to branch out from the guild. I should imagine he probably has, but I don't know. I say the indie RPG industry is very much like no one's actually popular, like, at all. Maybe, but like ultimately putting this thing on the guild is not the reason that I'm making it. So, if people's, like, form of criticism for the Mystic is you don't conform to the standard design practices of the edition, then I immediately can infer that those people are fucking morons, and their opinion doesn't matter. Because yeah, I've seen enough of that in my day to just immediately just write those people off as just total fucking morons. It's yeah, it boils my piss. It really does, especially when it's like, admittedly, this is a pretty bold decision, but even so, like, I've seen it for very, very minor shit. Yeah, I was saying before that I think the people on the guild, none of them are actually popular, like, conventionally speaking. I think within reason, yeah, there is a line where it goes from just being like, you are a dumbass, to, okay, you know, where are you going with this? But that line is very, very far along. Like, that encompasses maybe 5% of the argument. unlike bandwagon trends are like, you know, if you like, you know, I've seen people who are like really like, you know, like my example of like bandwagon stuff is like Christian Zuch's Encounters in Insert Thing Here series, which are very, very popular. They metal pretty much instantly every time because everybody wants to buy them. And it just so happens they tend to coincide with new set releases, or new module releases. And also he'll release like a million Ravenloft ones because it's Ravenloft. Like, of course you do. Everybody likes Ravenloft. And it's one of those things where it's like, if I was the kind of person who enjoyed writing those encounters, then I would do that. But I'm not. I don't like writing those encounters. Yes, Joe is 100% right. If it is a new design space, there's a difference between new design space and conflicting design. Because if something explores new design space, it is automatically, as long as it's done well, but that should be besides the point. So if something is done well or done poorly, it can be anything, it doesn't matter in what context. And most of the time, if something is done well, it's probably good most of the time. But I went on a tangent to a tangent, but I think the I was talking about the encounter stuff. Yeah, like if I could find a means to capitalize on new product releases in a way that I thought was fun, I don't think it would be laughed off the guild. It just wouldn't sell. If you would post it on like any of the shitty homebrew subreddits, then it would be laughed off the subreddit. Like Unearthed Arcana, just never go there. Like, all the stuff that gets upvoted is just unusable garbage, and like everything else is also unusable garbage. It's there's people upvote and downvote on there based on like what the name of a thing implies and how cool it is, and not actually how good it is at all. Or downvote based on like arbitrary nonsense, like how cool something is. But yeah, I should probably take a break here because I'm fucking starving. I realise I've like been just faffing about and chatting, which it's fine. Like, ostensibly speaking, I'm not bothered at all. When I get back, I'll probably go on about like 10 to 15 minutes. I want to go like grab some food. When I get back, we will carry on with this for another sort of half an hour or so. And I need to head off because I've got a game to go. Yeah. But I will be back in about 10 minutes or so. I'll see you guys in a sec. I return. Hello. Let me just get the music back. Oh. Oh. Right. Where do we get up to? Up to here. Yeah. Right, let's take a look at master level. No, I don't think greater projection needs to be made any better. I think it's fine as is. You roll 2d4 instead of d6. So obviously 2d4 is better than a d6, like, obviously. Train of thought. Lost my train of thought. So yeah, 2d4 better than a d6. I could go to a d8, but a 2d4 is better than a d8 as well. Because, funnily enough, is... God, fuck me. I'm, like, brain train is fucking gone. It's derailed. It's gone off a cliff. And where is the fucking thing? There we go. Oh god, I need to... It's not my... Ugh. It's part of this feature. You instead automatically succeed on saving throws against the incapacitated and stunned conditions. Oh, I didn't see your message before. I think the main problem with places like Unearthed Arcana is the things that do get upvoted are the like, are the things that people are just ripping off, like, media. And the actual, like, original, interesting stuff tends to just get buried. Oh, God, I need to clear my throat. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, drink some water or something. I've never seen one quite that bad, but yeah. The most upvoted thing on there right now, like, lately, because I looked earlier on today, is a class called the Incarnate, which I thought was the weird 3.5 class, where you, like, you know, you, like, manifest weird items and shit about your person. But no, it's just Godzilla, for some reason. I don't really know what that means. I didn't really want to look into it at all. It's just like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, they're either, like, single low-effort spells that would very obviously be game-breaking, or they're just, like, pop culture rip-offs in the least imaginative way possible. My personal favorite is to, like, way of designing a class is taking a pure mechanical aspect of the game that just doesn't really exist, and recontextualizing it in another fashion. For instance, a class. Oh God, Joe, don't bring those cursed words here. Do not bring the Swarmkeeper is weird. Like, it works, I think. I think Swarmkeeper is very strange, but I don't think there's anything ostensibly wrong with it. I think it's fucking weird, though. No, I think, like, summoning bugs or whatever is yeah, that doesn't feel like something that's been ripped from anything. Like, controlling bugs. Like, I didn't even know there was a Naruto character that summoned bugs. The only thing I can think of is, like, a one-off villain from the original series of Ben 10 to very specifically, like, state exactly how old I am. Is he? No, he's not a one-off villain. He shows up multiple times in the original series. I don't remember his name, though. He's just covered in bugs, and that's it. He's just covered in bugs. It's his power, I think. He's not even one of the aliens, he's just a guy. But yeah, I think that's wholly unique enough to be its own thing. I think Swarmkeeper is just weird because Swarmkeeper as a concept is weird. I mean, yeah, it's like that one is wholesale, and honestly, I'm all for it. There is also just kind of the idea of, like, if you're, you know, you see, like, the imagery of, like, the dude meditating with his chakras. He's got a whole bunch of arms. You know, he's, like, aligning his chakras, and because they're all aligned and he's transcended or whatever, he's got, like, extra arms. That, I think, is probably the real inspiration for Astral Self. That, and also JoJo. But honestly, like, Astral Self is separated from JoJo to such a degree. It doesn't reference it, none of the abilities, like, even the ability itself specifically states it doesn't even make a full guy either, at least until, like, the highest level. It's just arms and eventually a head. So I personally think it dodges it, because you can easily flavor Astral Self as not a JoJo stand. It's just that everybody wants to flavor Astral Self as a JoJo stand, because that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I think the, yeah. See, I personally much prefer flavoring Artificer as, like, a mech suit. I think that's much more in line with the fantasy that I want out of Armorer, of it being a mech suit and not just fucking Iron Man armor. Ugh. So mental separation. You know what I'm gonna do? Hang on, I need to go like double check like where this comes from. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, there's a fine line for like pop culture references in Homebrew. I couldn't tell you where it was, but I think we can all collectively kind of have at least a vague idea of where it is. And I think Armorer is the closest thing in official print to push that boundary, to come anywhere near to that boundary, because it is kind of rigid. Okay. Right. They are not, no. Not that it matters too much, because you cast them without components, they can't be counted. See, it just feels like I'm missing something here. You don't really, I don't know, these abilities are kind of useful. Oh, I know. I know what I'm missing. As if you were stood in the sensor's location. That is the mechanical niche I was looking for. And also, why the fuck is this not alphabetized? Let's fix that. I've done it here as well. It's been like, oh yes, L comes after M. Yup, that's how that works. This is what the alphabet is. It's like, no, it fucking isn't. Done it here as well. I've just got a rhythm with it, I don't know. So yeah, this here, projected psionics. Whenever you create a sensor with a feature granted by this power, you may use powers and mystic features as if you were stood in the sensor's location. Or in the sensor's space. Nicer protection, mental separation. I think this is probably in a good spot. I feel like the master level one is kind of eh. Oh, well, I know actually, hang on. I know. So now you can just get the full benefits of clairvoyance out to a range of a mile as an action, and you can do it whenever you want. just all the time, you're like, my mind is everywhere. I see all things. Fuck you. Or something, I don't know. And whenever you create a sensor with a feature granted by this power, and choose for it to be, I can choose for it to be animated, and choose for it to mimic your movements. You may also choose for it to mimic your movements and speech. No, not speed, speech. There we go. That I'm happy with. It's more of a flavor pick than anything else, but it does have capabilities. It is powerful in its own right. Cool. Now it is 7 o'clock, so I do need to head off pretty soon. But there is something I do want to do. Before I go, you are not a caster at all. This is. I suppose it's probably the last thing I can do. Is basically just do like a big run through of how this works. So you have working title. That's specifically I want to change the name. PowerPoints, which you start with 2, and you can spend them over a long rest or when you create your character to learn powers. And what we just made was 1 power. We made, where is it? Mental projection. So all of this that we just wrote is 1 power. But you don't get all of this. When you learn a power, you learn it at the novice level. So you get this stuff here. You get lesser projection and mental separation. So to start with, you start with 2 powers which you learn at the novice level. So let's say we pick mental projection and precognition, this one here. So you get these novice level features, you get lesser projection and mental separation, and then you also would get the precognition novice features of precognitive guidance and future foretold. So that would be your level 1. At level 2, you also get this feature, but that's, whatever. At level 2, you get another power point, which you can spend to learn a new power. Let's say, for the sake of simplicity, we learn psychometry. So you would get metric points, you'd get psychoanalyze, psychoanalyze, yeah, that's it. And psychometric detection. You get those three abilities. When you reach 3rd level, you become a psionic adept, and you also get a power point. As a psionic adept, it means that you can spend a power point to increase your mastery level in a power that you know. They can be. It's all about how you build them. This is one of those classes where, like a warlock, you can build them wrong. And if you do it wrong, then you will suck. You won't suck too bad, but you will suck. Like, building a warlock incorrectly is not the end of the world, but you're not going to have a great time. If you want to try and be powerful, the same is true here, probably to a greater extent. You need to pick at least one of the combat-capable powers to, be good at combat. Or you can, if your campaign doesn't have a lot of combat in it, you can just, pick all the flavor ones if you want. But, once you become a psionic adept at 3rd level, you can, your maximum mastery level is adept, so you can spend a power point to increase the level of mastery of one of your powers. So mental projection, we are novice level. We can increase to adept level and gain these abilities here. So improvements to lesser projection and mental separation. and then we also get projected psionics as well. And as we go up, so we become psionic adept. So from there, it's all good. So this is, if I wanted to just sit down and work, I wouldn't stream it, I say that, and later on this week I am specifically doing a stream to force me to work, but that's besides the point. So yeah, at 9th you can become an adept in the powers that you know, and at 13th you can master the powers you know. There are basically 3 ways you can build like a mystic. There is the first way, where you spend all 16 of your points, so by 19th level you have mastered 4 powers, and that's it. You know those 4 powers and are master level in them and nothing else. Which is probably the way a lot of people will play Mystic, but it's probably not the most optimal way to do it. There's the opposite, where you literally are like a maximum of adept level in like 8 different powers. Which is probably a very terrible way to play the class, but I'm sure it can theoretically work. It's mostly just like turning your character sheet into an essay, so it's probably not very fun. And then there's sort of the middle ground way, which I think is probably how most people will play the class, and it's definitely the most fun and best way of doing it, is you've mastered sort of 1, 2, maybe even 3 powers and have a smattering of other powers as well. So, let's say, you're a 19th level mystic, and you have mastered weapon meta creation and meta protection, but you're also like an adept in levitation, psionic tenacity, bodily adaption, and alacritic enhancement. And that's probably all everything. I think that's about right. Basically, you have 16 points, 20 different skill trees, and 4 levels for every tree. Sure. I'll say I'm stopping soon, so you'll have to save it for later on this week, I'm afraid. But so I'll be stopping in like 5 minutes. But what was your big question? I will answer the big question, and then I will have to go because I have a game to go to. No, I was talking about the barbarian stuff. I said, like, big question I can answer, but like analyzing Homebrew, I definitely can't do in like a couple minutes. A big question I can answer in less than 5 minutes. Anything else? Probably not. Oh, it doesn't. Not even remotely. Wizards, you at minimum by level 20, you have what? 19 over 19.2 is 38. You have a minimum of like 44 spells. If you want to build the most spells possible build with Mystic, you'll probably end up with like 12 spells, give or take. You get to cast those spells a lot. You get to cast them multiple times per short rest. You get a lot of spells, but they're all fairly low level. A handful of like 5th level spells you can cast a decent amount of. But again, like if you want to be a spellcaster Mystic, then be an aberrant mind sorcerer, basically. There's hang on, like Enlightened Senses gets True Strike. Yeah, so you get True Strike, you get. Hang on, let's search for the word spell. Oh, here we go. So, True Strike. Mental Projection gets Clairvoyance and Scrying. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll be heading off in a sec. Thanks for stopping by. Precognition gets Guidance. Meta Protection gets Shield and Wall of Force. Hypnosis gets Charm Person and Gias. What one is this? Telepathy gets Mind Sliver. Detect Thoughts and Sending. Mental Grip gets Hold Person. Maybe gets Bigby's Hand. Levitation gets Levitate. And Teleport. Oh, wait, no. Psychoportation gets Teleport. Ignore me. Telekinesis gets Catapult and Telekinesis. Alacritic Enhancement gets Haste. And then Bodily Adaptation gets Older Self and Polymorph. But yeah, that's it. You're not going to get very many spells. I think that's like a total of like 12, I think. Like 12, 13. If that. But yeah, I say I need to head off here because I have a game to go to like several minutes ago. To be fair, people won't have all shown up by now. He says. No, there's only 3 of the 5 of them here. Well, yeah, 5 of them, so it's okay. I have some time to like go use the loo and have a drink and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks folks for sticking about, talking in chat and all that. Mostly just been rambling whilst I've been like not doing much work, but whatever, like it's fine. So it is there two different kinds of enjoyment of getting work done and also talking in chat a whole bunch. I wish these streams were longer than they were, and I'm sure at some point in the future I will probably just end up moving these streams to a Tuesday and just going from like 5 till like 8 o'clock or something just to make sure I get more work done. Don't know if I'm actually going to do that, but I probably will at some point. But either way, I'll be back on Thursday because I want to do more writing streams. Phalar, if you're still here, if you want to post that Barbarian subclass, then feel free. I'll be starting around 1 PM and I'll be finishing around between 3 and 4, probably depending on how long work takes. Basically, I want to write another character. I'm making good progress. I did like 2 or 3 streams of that last week, and it was really successful. I had a really good time with it. I got a lot of work done as well. Like I'm starting to burn through that stuff. It's encouraging me to work a lot faster than I was. And the week after next, I'm going to start doing like 3 of those streams a week, like minimum. Like probably like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or like whatever works for me in a given week. I just want to like stream that stuff a whole bunch. I'm also right near the end of Chrono Trigger, which I'll be playing on Friday, and I'll be playing some more Pokemon on Sunday, though that is like almost a week away now, but more just under a week away. But either way, I'm going to head off. Thanks for sticking about. I will hopefully see some of you on Thursday. See ya.